Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So today I'm going to integrate all my rebuttals into the main points. First, I want to talk about the social dynamics that we're going to create with this policy, and I want to talk about academic dynamics that's going to be created by this policy. And finally, I want to talk about confidence, why that is so important, not only to succeed academically, but also as a human being that we should strive for. So first point, we talked a lot about sort of the social dynamics and what is going to happen. So they had basically 2 points. First, they say that if we divide them into classes, then you're going to receive stigma. We say, well, maybe that's the case, but you can quickly get over that. The idea is that when you put them in the same class, you're reminded day after day that you are the worst student in the classroom. That's more detrimental than perhaps at the beginning putting you in a different class, and then kids get over that, right? They get on with their day-to-day life, and then they start studying, and life moves on. A perfect example for this is not all the high schools have the same quality within the same city, right? Some high schools do have, some stigma that, less able students go there, but they get over that quickly, and we have seen successful, good human beings coming from all different high schools. It's just simply not true that the stigma that's received is the same. But if we put them in the same classroom, if they have to be reminded day by day, they're the worst sort of the student in the class, and they're less likely to try harder and try to achieve something. And we say that is bad. And secondly, they talked about, we're going to limit interaction between students, and that's a good thing. I don't know if they have gone through high school, right? Within the same class, you have different groups. You have the nerd groups, you have the jockey groups. They don't interact with each other. Just because you put them physically together, it doesn't mean that these people will suddenly learn from each other, have a great party. That's simply not true. So we say that by putting them into, but by simply putting them into different classes, we don't see how that creates an actual, harm to the students. We see that's perfectly fine. And secondly, we want to talk about sort of the academic dynamics that we talked about. So first, they say that, well, you can't really, measure fully people's potential. We can see that when we say, no, we can't. But the point is about realizing your potential, right? So if later on in life or in your student career that you do better, we're gonna move you up in the class, and that's totally fine. We're not saying you are, your fate is decided when you enter the school, and you're never gonna change that. We say that with this system, we get actual more benefits. First, in terms of good students, right? So good students don't have to be stuck with the same level of mathematics just more because he's waiting for everyone else to catch up. So he can actually realize his full potential, and when he does that, he's more likely to be interested in studying even more, right? So that is good for that individual. And let's say the less able students, now they're able to actually make a difference by studying really hard, which is not the same as before. And when they see that, the sort of the reward from being able to achieve something, that's an incentive to push extra hard. And that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's why, and they're more likely to realize whatever potential they have, because now they don't give up. Yes?
If you're put behind the slower class and not taught what the faster class is taught, how are you going to catch up with the faster class if you're behind them in the material?
Well, because sometimes you learn at a different speed, right? You might be behind in material in the first year, but in the second year you can learn more material. It's not like we have, the material is not according to time scale. It's not like everything takes 1 day to learn. You can, it sometimes take people 1 day to learn, some people 2 days to learn. So we don't see this is really true, that once you're behind in terms of material, and there's no way in life you can catch up in that. So finally, that we want to talk about why it is so important, this self-fulfilling prophecy that we've told you, especially Robert has explained to you. The school system is not just about sort of academically training our kids. And in that respect, we say that it is very important for these students not to give up. Case in point, that we have realized that it is very detrimental when you are at the bottom of the class and you're more likely to give up. We have studies shown that in the US, they have affirmative action where they admit less academically able college students into colleges. And the study shows they're more likely to drop out of college because they certainly, they just don't get as rewarding, and from the frustration that they have that they never can possibly catch up, really kind of like grow on them. And we say that it's actually better for these students in some other universities. They can study with their peers and really realize their full potential becoming a doctor. Maybe not everyone needs to be a Harvard doctor. They can just be doctor and self-actualize, right? So we say that not giving up academically is a good thing. And secondly, even if we concede that maybe academically there might be some harm, we still, as a human being, having the confidence is very important. When you're young, when you're a little kid, those are the years where you build confidence. And we have seen, even if you do excellently academically, your self-confidence can really change the course of life. And a perfect example is women do better at universities. They have higher graduation rate. They just do better, and they're smarter than we guys. I don't know why, but that's the case. And what happens in the job market is they're less aggressive in bargaining their salaries, and as a result, and as a result, we have a bigger sort of a pay gap, and they don't kind of like fulfill their life because they don't have that confidence. And we think it's very important that we give these kids the confidence. They can build up, they can see, they can achieve something. And it's very important that we don't just look at academic results and the fact that we can train these individuals and one day become a responsible citizen of our society, not only doing well, studying well, but also as a human being are able to believe in themselves. Because when you believe in yourself, you can go the extra mile, and when you go to the extra mile, you become the self-fulfilling prophecy that you always envision yourself. So we believe academically it would be good actually for good students and worse students, and also even if we concede there might be some harm, just the fact that we make them a more confident individual, that they will self-actualize, they will achieve their full potential, and we believe that's enough to propose this model.